From the Oklahoman newsroom, this is an OU update. I'm Jenny Carlson here with OU beat writer Brooke Pryor. Brooke, the NFL Combine over for the Sooners, and a lot of interesting tidbits to chew on. We got to start with a guy that unexpectedly did not impress, that being Orland Brown, a guy that I think a lot of people feel like is a very high round draft pick, but his numbers at the Combine, not good at all.
No, not at all. And this is a guy, he's a unanimous All-American. By all accounts, he was going to be a first-round pick. After what he did at the Combine, I'm not so sure that's still the case. He only put up 14 reps on the bench press, ran a 5.85 40-yard dash, which granted, when's a lineman going to run a 40-yard dash in a straight line? But all that to say, that's not great. I mean, it was a historically bad performance. And he said afterward, I didn't stick to my breathing plan on his bench press, and he said he knows his numbers will be held against him. But I have to wonder if that's just something he's just saying because you're supposed to say it, because I've never thought Orland Brown to lack self-awareness, but after putting up those numbers, it looked like either, he didn't prepare the right way, he got in his head, maybe he had an injury that we don't know about, but I mean, it was a head-scratching performance all the way around.
I don't think anybody's thinking Orland Brown goes undrafted, but this seems like a situation where he's cost himself some money if he doesn't come out at OU's Pro Day and improve on some of those numbers.
Exactly. The good news for Orland Brown, there is nowhere to go but up. And if he did go worse, then maybe we would be talking about him not getting drafted, but I don't think that's the case. I mean, like I said, he's an All-American, had a great season, he has NFL pedigree, he knows what it takes to make it in the league, so maybe it was just an off day. People have that, maybe that's a really bad time to have an off day, but like you said, he does have the benefit of a pro day on March 14th. He can redo all of that. He said he would redo most of it, and he has a big chance to improve on those numbers.
Definitely so. Another guy that had bad start, but finished remarkably well. It was really kind of a roller coaster day for Jordan Thomas on the on-field drills. He was kind of all over the map with his numbers.
Yeah, no kidding. I think I owe Jordan Thomas an apology from some of my earlier tweets in the day. Watching him run the 40, I mean, I think one of his runs was a 4.66. I think officially it was a 4.64, which not great for a defensive back. He only had 4 reps on the bench press, which is fine if you're then going to be fast, but he was neither strong nor fast in those drills. But then he set a course record in the 3-cone drill, had tied for first in the 20-yard shuttle. So it's just his agility testing is off the charts, but in some of those more traditional metrics that people look at first, it didn't look so good. And he was kind of being dissected by Rich Eisen and Mike Mayock, talking about his struggles at Oklahoma, some of his off-field issues, but then he turns around and does that agility stuff and maybe goes from being undrafted to take it in a late round, could be a special teams guy.
Yeah, definitely kind of an all over the board. He'll be another guy that at OU's Pro Day on the 14th will have some numbers to put up. Let's talk about the guys that maybe were a little more conventional in their results. I think probably Baker Mayfield goes to the top of the list in that, right?
Exactly. Although with Baker Mayfield, it's never going to be completely conventional. Mayfield actually measured a little bit taller than he did at the Senior Bowl. Senior Bowl, he was 6 feet and 3/8. At the NFL Combine, he was 6 feet and 5/8. But the good news for Baker is that now he can go from rounding to 6 feet to rounding up to 6'1". But he ran a pretty average 40. I think it was a 4.85. And then his throws looked really good. I only saw him not connect on maybe 1 or 2. But other than that, I mean, he showed what he can show on tape, what he has shown on tape. And it was interesting, though. It sounds like his performance in the interviews off the field, kind of a mixed result. You had some guys saying that they loved everything he did on the field, didn't like him off the field. Some guys say he's exactly what I thought he was going to be off the field. We're comfortable with him. So there's still no clear consensus on Baker Mayfield. Didn't think there really would be, but it just shows that the next month or so before the NFL draft is going to be really important for him to continue to meet with these teams face to face.
We know obviously at OU's Pro Day the guys that weren't invited to Combine, that's a big day for them. We've talked about Orlando, we've talked about Jordan Thomas, but of those other guys that were invited to the Combine, who do you think, is there an area, whether it's Mayfield or Mark Andrews or whomever, an area that any one of those other guys that went to the Combine really needs to show well at OU's Pro Day?
You know, I think for Mark Andrews, he just needs to continue to show that he can be an NFL tight end. You know, he had good numbers. He was really fast. I think his 40 time was even faster than Baker Mayfield's. So he had a good combine, did what he needed to do. Same thing with Dimitri Flowers. You know, there was nothing super remarkable about either one of them, and I think that's fine. I think that when then you go into pro day and maybe you have a chance to put up more bench press numbers or show off some more catches, things like that, that they can just kind of sharpen and fine tune in that pro day and just have another chance to put another impression on some of these NFL scouts.
All right, that is again March 14th down in Norman. We'll have a lot of coverage as we build up to that next week, so be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.